Okay. So I believe that there are few new students. I'm just going to address those things as well for our new students. So for those students who are attending this for the first time, uh, this will be the official, consider this as the official first class for your syllabus, because previously, or the introduction class, we discussed only about the interface. So only about the interface. What do you mean by this? This is a menu bar. What do you mean by ribbon? Why we use ribbon? What is formula bar, name bar, name box? Then we have the cells. So basic things just for the interface. So this is the actual class where we start doing our operations, or the basic rudimentary operations with your Excel.
This is Microsoft Excel.
Yes, this is your Word is completely entirely different, miss. So Word, it's more like a word processor, which you can create CVs, banners, and stuffs like that. This is more into understanding the calculations or analytical part. So in the introduction class, we explained why we are using Excel. Just to revise things, just for our student, let's revise it once. You see that previously there were ledgers, ledgers like bookkeeping. So they were using books to keep all the information. Let's take Taylor, for example. So Taylor used to keep their clients' information in a book, so that when they come back for another cloth pair stitching, they don't have to take measurements again. So they have the book and they used to keep it, right? So same thing happens with the banks as well. So most of the banks in around the world, they used to keep books for finding out how much money they are keeping in and how much they took out. So all those things, when they were using books to keep, it was very difficult for them to share that information to anyone else. That was the first thing. The second thing was that in order to keep the book, you cannot really back up any data. That's the only book which you have. You cannot make copies of it. So that was again an issue. So to rule out those issues, they introduced softwares. So these softwares are meant to replace those physical books. So that's basically what Excel is. So Excel is like a bookkeeping software in which you can keep all data. You can keep like data in the boxes, and that you can use it for reference later on. So let's say you want to see what that specific thing is, you can come back and you can check it out. So this is like, that's basically what the Excel is used for. So now we will be checking out the analytical part, which means to say that we will be talking about how you will be using different kinds of references in Excel. Now you see that I have some gap in this sheet. So this is my sheet which I have, and in this sheet I have some gaps. Whenever you are working with a data, or whenever you're working with a cluster, please remember that you should not have any blank spaces. In here or in here, you should not have any blank spaces. So what you will do is you will remove those blank spaces. How would you remove those blank spaces? Again, you will select that specific section, in this case as column. So you're going to select a specific column, right click on the column. You see I'm right clicking on here, not click on right, don't right click on here, right click on this name or letter, and from here you click on delete button to delete the specific column. Yes, you have to right click and you have to do the delete button to delete the complete row, complete column. Now, same thing we want to do for the entire row. So I want to delete this complete section also. So for this reason, I'm going to select this 2. If I click on this, it's going to select only one cell. If I click on the number 2, it's going to select the entire row. Yes. So when entire row is selected, what you do is you right click and you click on delete in order to delete that specific row. Now you see that you have one data in a cluster. Cluster means it doesn't have any space. So this is a data cluster. Cluster should not have any spaces in between. If there is any spaces in between, we cannot call it as data cluster. It's an incomplete data. Okay, so it's an incomplete data cluster. We can say that this is an incomplete data cluster. If you have data in each cell and everything is filled up, we can say that this is a data cluster. So now at this point, what we will be doing is we will be removing the remaining values, or rather we're going to get our remaining values. So how can I get, let's say that there is nothing in here. I want to find out my remaining values. In this, it's a basic formula. I'm just going to zoom into the page. How am I zooming in is by clicking on this zoom tool, which you have at the bottom corner. So at the bottom corner, you click on the zoom button and you zoom in a little, and you can see that we have all these sections showing up. From this, we want remaining value to be shown. Remaining value means what's there remaining in my bank account. Now I have revenue, which means the money which I have made throughout this month. So the money which I have made throughout this month is 1,234 riyal. The expenses or the spend, the amount spent from my pocket is 123. So the money which got into my pocket is 1,234, and the money which went out of my pocket is 123. So what would be my remaining amount? That's what I have to calculate. So to calculate this, what we will do is we're gonna tell system to do it by ourselves on our behalf. So how can we tell this is by writing equals. So when you write equals, it will allow you to do calculations now. All you have to tell is take the revenue and then minus it with expenses. So you're selecting the cell. So you see that B2 is coming. B2 is what? B2 is the code which is coming for the cell. You see B is the column, 2 is the row. So this B2 is the position of the cell. So B2 is the position of the cell minus C2, which means to say under C column, second row. So C B2 minus C2, that means take this cell position, minus it with the values of this cell position. Once you have set so, and then when you hit enter, it will give you the value, and that is this much. So once you get this value, all you have to do is not repeat the same thing again and again, because Excel is all about automation. So what you do is you bring and click on this, select the dot in here, which is the green dot in here, click and drag it till the end. That's it. And when you drag it till the end, automatically all the references will be brought in. So here the references are taken automatically. And because of that reason, all the values are brought in. You see that when I click and drag, all the values are bringing in automatically. This reference is what we call it as relative reference. Okay, so relative reference means you are using one reference to do remaining references which are following down. Okay, so that's your references. I'm just going to do this again just for your information. You see, I'm going to select the cell, press equals, and now we're going to select revenue. What is the revenue? It's B2. B2 cell is the revenue. Yes, minus it with expenses. Expenses is my C2 cell. Yes, C2 cell is my expenses for the January month, and then I will hit enter. This will be the remaining value. For the same, I want February, March, April, May, June. So I'll just click and drag down. It will bring me all the values.
So
Yes.
that point, like
Yes.
8 point.
Yes.
There's already something there because now what I'm doing, if I select only value is getting minus.
Yeah.
But when I'm putting QR and number, the value is not coming.
Yes. For that, if you want to do this, you can click on number format, but don't do this now. We can do it later. I'll show you this. But for this instance, you click on more number formats, or you can select the cell, click on this button, which is the number formats button, and then it will take you to this place.
Yeah.
From here, you click on currency, and then you select symbol and you type in Q. Once you type Q, it will bring you QAR. Select that and click on OK. It will bring you the QAR. Okay. So I'll show you these options later on also. But for now, you can just concentrate on other students. He's a little advanced. That's why for him it's fine. But for you all, please try to go through step by step so you understand each and everything, or else you might skip things. Okay. So you see that this is what the remaining value is. Now I will click and I drag down, all my values are coming in. So this is relative reference. All the values will automatically follow. This is what we call it as the autofill, or I'm going to talk about this autofill also later, but relative reference is what you need to understand. Okay, now coming to the absolute reference. Now let's see, we have one more problem to solve. The problem is here. The problem suggests us that I have few names of the items, item 1, item 2, item 3. Each one has their own prices. Each one has their own quantity. I need to calculate their values. So I need to find the total for the quantity. Actually, this is a subtotal. So we have to find out the subtotal, tax, and total value for this. So item 1 is, the price of item 1 is 55 riyal. I am buying 3 of this. So what would be the answer? So here I will say equals total price multiplied. How do you add multiply? Is by writing star. Star means multiplying here. So when you put star, it means multiply. So you are multiplying it with quantity 3. Hi, yes. So we are selecting the price C44. C44 is what? Then again, it's the cell name. Cell name is C44. And once we select C44, multiply that with D44. What is D44? D44 is your quantity. So you're selecting the price, multiply that with the quantity. And when you hit enter, you will get the value. Once you get this value, I want to do exactly the same for the rest. So I will use relative reference, or in short, I will select and I will drag this by clicking on the green button and dragging it down. So this is what I'm going to get for all the rest of the value. Now here I need to find tax. In Qatar, we don't have tax, but let's say you are in a specific, or you're auditing a company which has tax in it, and the tax is considered to be 18%. So 18% GST, goods and services taxes, we have 18%, and we have to put this 18% into our value. So what would be the tax for 165 riyal? What would be the 18% tax for 165 riyal? How do you calculate? It's by writing equals, and then you select the value 165 riyals, and simply you multiply that with 18%. So this will give you the value. So you just multiply that with the 18%. This will give you the value for 18%. That means 18% of 165 will be 29 riyal. So to understand this, it's like this. What is 50? What is half of this? What is half of 160? Consider that this is 160 only. Okay, I'll change the price to 50 only. Let's change this to 50. Okay, so 150. What is the half of 150? If you want to divide 150 with 2, what would be the answer? 75. Very good. 75 is what we get. So 50% of 150 is 75. Correct? So now if I want to say quarter of this, quarter of what 150 is how much? Then I will just multiply that with 25%. 25% is the quarter. 37.5 is the quarter for 150.
What is happening over is already the formulas inserted all that, right?
Yes, we have already formulas inserted. We are just changing the GST.
Values.
Yes,
So that automatically.
exactly. So here what we are changing is we are not changing the subtotal, nor we are changing the GST. So we are not changing any of the values. We are just adding the number in here. Automatically, it will bring me the value for it. So that's basically what we want. Now I want to do this exact same thing, so that whenever I'm changing this value, I'm changing this to 15%. Let's say tomorrow suddenly the government comes and tells us that no, now the GST is entirely changed to 75%. So if I add 75, it should give me the value. So I want this to happen. So how can I make this happen? Is by selecting the tax value in here, and I can simply drag this down. Same thing, right? What I did. But the problem is, if I drag this down, it will not work. Why is this not working? Is because you see that this reference is taking blue as HE44 and H42 as the red reference. Now, when I go down, when I'm scrolling this down, it's going to the next cell. You see, blue is going to the next cell. Simultaneously, the red is also going down. We don't want this red to go down. We want this red to stay there only, right? So for this, what we will do is we're going to go in here, select the cell, and press F4 key from your keyboard. F4 from your keyboard. So press F4 key from your keyboard. And as soon as you press F4 key from your keyboard, it will add this dollar key before and after H. So you see that it's adding dollar key before H, and after H also it's adding a dollar, which means it's before 42, which means that it's locking column H and it's locking row 42. Dollar means it's a locking element. So consider dollar as your locking element.
Can you repeat how to add that?
Yeah, press F4 from your keyboard. F4 key is here in your system. I'll just show you that with the keyboard. Okay, so just for your information, I think, yeah, for other students who are new, for them, I think it will be a little difficult for that reason. So you see, this is the F4 key which you have. So this key is the one. Don't press F and 4. This is not F4. Okay, so F4 is this key. So this is a function key. Escape function 1, function 2. This is the function key, F4 key. Okay, so now once you have added this, now let's go in here and let's see how our values will work. You see that I'm selecting this value and pressing F4 from my keyboard, and it will bring me the locking system or the lock for GST. Once it's done, we will select and drag down. Now it should work properly. Now all the values are taking in from the same tax. Okay. Any doubts, Lakshmi? You look confused. Yeah.
Sir,
Tell me.
can you please do like the first step?
Yeah, sure. You see that the first step which I did was you mean this one, subtotal? The tax itself? Okay. So let's do the tax again. You see that we're going to come in here and press equals. Now what we want is we want the 75% of 150. So what I will do is I'm going to select subtotal, click on here, and I will be multiplying this with 75%. That means I'm selecting this value 150 and I want 75% of this 150. 100% of 150 is 150. 50% of 150 is half. So I want 75, which is intermediate in that. So I will select 75 and then when I hit enter, it will give me the value. This is showing me correct. But the problem is when I drag down, this blue reference will go down. Red reference will also go down. We want blue reference to go down, no problem. Blue reference, it can go down, no issue. But red should stay there only. For that reason, what do? We're going to select red cell reference and we press F4 key, which is the function 4 key under your keyboard. So this is the F4 key from your keyboard. So press F4 key from your keyboard and then you will get your, lock. Yes. So once you lock it, you hit enter, you will get your answer. And with this, you can drag down and you will get all the values. So this is about using your absolute reference. Now let's try doing our total.
Any other shortcut is there to add this dollar?
Yes, F4 key is the shortcut.
Our issue with my keyboard is
Oh.
German key.
German keyboard. Oh, so function key should be the same, bro. Can you try? Can you press and hold function Fn button and press F4?
FN,
Yeah, press and hold Fn and then F4. Sometimes
yeah,
this happens. Yeah, so press and hold Fn button.
dollar in front and back both.
Yes, it will add dollar back and forth. So you see, press and hold Fn button and then press F4 key together. If it's a German keyboard, if it's a different keyboard, Fn has to be pressed. All right, perfect. Okay, so once it's done, guys, so we will add our total. Now you please observe, we're going to press equals. We want the total for this. So total is 150, 75% tax is 112. Now I want the total of this. So I'm going to select subtotal. I'm going to add to my tax and then I will hit enter. This will give me the total value. If the GST is 10%, my total will be 165. If the GST is 50, it's going to be this much. Okay. Automatically, it will bring you all the values together. That's basically why we are using this. So now you also see that we are selecting this, and that's basically because of this reason we are getting it. Now let's say we are getting discount also. Okay, so we are getting a discount offer also. Okay, let's see this. So we are getting discount offer of 70%. We are getting a 70% discount. So now I want to find out the 70% discount for the total. So what I will do is I'm going to select discount here. Equals. This is the total value. And this, I will multiply that with the discounted value which I have. All right. So with this, 70% discount is there. And now when I hit enter, it will give me the value. So 70% discount is this much. This much amount will get deducted from my total. Discount amount, we'll say discount amount, just to avoid any confusion. Now I will add one more thing, final price. So this is the final price now. Before I can go to final price, you see that if I drag this down, 70% discount should stay as it is. So for that, I will select the values and then I will press function F4 key from my keyboard, which is F4 key. Yeah, if you have a function button, dedicated function button, you have to press and hold function and then F4 key. Sometimes it doesn't work. So once you do that, hit enter and there you go, we have our value. So then you just drag this down and you have the discount amount. For the final price, we will press equals. We get the total value minus the discounted value. This will be the final price which I have to pay. So for 70% discount and 50% GST, this is how much I'm getting. You may also get this hashtags. Hashtags means it's not enough space to display the value. All you have to do is bring your mouse between the two letters and drag this to the right. Okay. So that's something which you will be doing in order to get the values. So that's done. And there you go. We have 70% discount this. And if you have 20% discounts, you have to pay this much. If you have 5% discount, you have to pay this much. 6% discount, you have to pay this much. So based on the different values, you will be automatically getting your numbers. Right? Understood? So that's about this, guys. Now let's go to the next part, which is your mixed reference. So from your mixed reference, the first thing which we'll be doing is removing all these values we don't need. Okay. You see that I have this table which I need to create a multiplication form. 1 multiplied by 10, I need the value in here. 2 multiplied by 20, I need the value in here. 3 multiplied by 3, I need the value in here, and so forth. So I want to create this entire list of numbers. So I want to create this entire list of numbers. So how can I do this? So I can simply use formula for this, right? So I can simply go in here and say equals 1, multiply that with 10, and you do the same logic till the entire end. But the problem is you're getting wrong answers, you see, because this red reference and blue reference is moving. We don't want blue reference to move. So what I will do, I will log this. Now you see that if I'm moving to the right hand side, obviously I'm getting correct answers because blue is staying there, red is moving. No problem, it's working fine, but there is again an issue. If I'm selecting this and I'm dragging this down, I'm getting wrong answers again. You see, I'm getting same answers. I don't get correct answers. The reason is because when I'm moving down, you see red reference is going down. I don't want red reference to go down. I want red reference to move left to right only. So now let's translate movements in here. So this is where we will be talking about movements and references, relations between them. Now you see, in this, if I'm moving from right to left, the reference, I'm moving right to left. In the name box, you just observe what is happening. C8, D8, E8, F8, correct? So that means only letters are changing, number is staying static, correct? Numbers are changing, letters are staying static. So left to right movement equals columns change, number, row number same. Okay, I'm just roughly translating this. Okay, movement left to right, movement up and down. You see what is happening? Column is exactly staying the same, but number is changing, right? So up and down movement equals column same, number changing. I'm just take this as a very Butler English form. Okay, so so once it's done, you see now what I'm doing is I'm gonna translate this into logic. Let's translate this into logic. So I'm gonna select this. This is B9. Multiply that with C8, which is the next section. Now I want this red reference or the C8 to have only left and right movements, which means columns change, row number same. If I want to make row number same, I will add dollar behind the number. If I add dollar locking element, if I add a locking element behind a number, it means to say that it will lock movement from left to right. Only left to right movement is happening now. Okay, so now only this will have only movement left to right. I want the movement up to down. If I want up down movement, you see column same, number changing. Column same how? By adding dollar behind a column. So when you add a dollar behind a column, column will stay same, number will be changing. Same thing here, column will change, number will stay the same. Once you have done this, hit enter. Now move this entirely to the right hand side, move this entirely till the end. Finish. You have got all the answers. Now if you double click, you can see 40 multiplied by 5 is 200. 50 multiplied by 5 is 250. It's bringing you all the values, exactly, precisely correct. So you see 10 multiplied by 10 is 100, 20 is 200, 30 is 300, same exact answers. Same thing for the end. So you can also stretch this. You can click on this and you can just drag this down, it will stretch and it will bring you all the answers. So that is how you can use mixed reference for translating movements into logic. That's how you will be translating any movements to logic. You will be asked this question during your assessment. The assessment will be cell reference should move only left to right. Select right option. If it's like this, you will be selecting what? It will be $C, $1, or $C1, $1. So which one will you select? Or C1, like this. So which one will you select?
First one.
Translation is only movement is left to right. Left to right. You see, you just do this in the sheet only. You keep your cell reference and move it from left to right. What is changing? What is not changing? P3 is staying the same. Only column is changing, right? So what does it mean? Only column is changing. The number is staying the same. Number before number dollar should be there. So this option, C $1. Okay, understood? So this left to right movement is translated to this column
Dollar should not be there in the
start.
front and back.
No. It should be behind the element. You see, row number, if I'm adding dollar behind the row number, it means it's locking row. If I'm adding dollar behind the column name, it's gonna lock the column. So any dollar behind the element, it's gonna lock that. So that is basically what the locking element is.
Dollar is same.
Yes, again, that's a good question. You see that now, I will come to that also. How can you press only F4 to get this movement? How can you get only this? So if you lock 3 times, you see what will happen? Press equals, select, multiply that with this. So now I'm going to select the blue reference, and if I lock F4 once, it will lock cell. If I press F4 twice, it's going to lock row. If I press F4 thrice, it's going to lock column. That means if you want up and down movement, you have to lock 3 times. Up and down movement, you have to lock 3 times. If you want left to right movements lock, then you lock 2 times. Okay, so if you lock cell once, it will lock the cell entirely. If you lock 2 times, it will lock the left to right movement, or left to right movement can be translated to this, locking 2 times. If you lock this thrice or 3 times, it's going to make the movement up and down only, not left to right. Okay. So that's basically about this, guys. Okay, now let's move to the next topic in here. Speak cells. Speak cells, it's more like an accessibility option which you have in your Excel. To understand this more better, we will be taking an example of, I'll take a few examples in here and show you what does it mean, so you can understand this better. You see that whenever you're working with cells, what happens is that you will forget spectacles. Let's say you have forgotten spectacles in home and you want to read this specific section out. If you want to read this out, you are not able to read it. Even though if you're zooming in, zooming out, then too it's difficult for you to read. At this position, Excel provides accessibility options. So under your accessibility options, you can read these text or anything, whichever it's written on the cell, without even having an assistance. What you do is you click on this button. This is what we call it as Customize Quick Access Toolbar. All right. So once you click on Customize Quick Access Toolbar, you have to click on More Commands. All right. So to give this better example. Okay, to give you a better example, I'm just writing this in here. So just you have the option to understand this. So please, first of all, what you do is you go ahead and click on this button. This is your Quick Access Toolbar. As soon as you click on Quick Access Toolbar, you will be going down in here till you find this More Commands option. So this is the first step which you will be doing. So as soon as you do this, then you have to click on this More Commands. So this will be the next step which you will be doing. So as soon as you click on More Commands, you see what will happen. It's going to take you in here and it's going to show you this options. From here, you have to select popular commands and you have to select all commands in here. The reason because popular commands will only give you about the niche commands which are used again and again by most of the users in Excel. So you won't find all commands in here. So to get all commands, you have to click on here and select all commands. Under your all commands, you can search, it's like a dictionary. You can press any key, it will take you to that specific letter options. So now I want speak cells. So S is my letter. So if I press S, it will take me to down. If you are fast enough, let's say your typing is fast, you can type in speak, it will take you to speak cells. If your typing is fast, if your typing is slow, then you can type S and you can find speak cells in here. Once you find them, click and then you click on add. Once you add them, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to remove both. So click on speak cells and click on add. It will add the speak cells to top. Now we're going to go down a little more because if it will just start speaking, it won't stop. So we have to make it stop also. So we will add our stop speaking cell as well. At the end, we have stop speaking cells. We're going to add that also. So we are adding speak cells and we are adding stop speaking cells. Once both are added, we're going to click on OK. That's it. Once it's done, there you go. We have added your speak cells and stop speaking cells. Now, all you have to do is go up till the edge over here, and you can start speaking cells by selecting it. So I'm going to select. Now you see that I'm going to select that specific cell. So I'm going to select specific cells and I'm going to click on speak cells.
Steps. Step 1, select the quick access toolbar options. Step 2, select more.
It's going to speak it for you. This will be very much beneficial if you're working with the data. Let's say you have an attendance sheet and you want to cross-check with the on list, which you have on screen. So you don't have to keep on looking at the screen. You can just play it on, relax, and you can just cross-check if it's everything is there or not. You know, you can go step by step. Like, so that's something which you can do. Okay, guys. Now let's go with the next option in here. Let me remove everything in here. Yes, please. More command is hidden. It might be, did you save the file? Please save the file first. Yeah, first save the file. And then you can check once if it's there or not. Did you run it as administrator? Did you run the software as administrator? If you have not run the software as administrator, it might not show sometimes. Is it quick access toolbar which you are running? Just a second. Yeah. Okay, guys. So now let's move ahead to the next option in here. So the next option is text to columns. This is an option which is used for, you know, making your text differ from one section to two different cells. So from one cell, you are extracting data from one cell and you are breaking it down to two different cells. So how do you do that? That's another question. So to do this, I'm just going to delete everything from here. And let us start. This is the first name which I have, John Doe. I want to put this, or I have to isolate this into two different sections, first name and last name. Now, if I want to do that, I will select the text in here, whichever it is. I'm going to select all the cells like that first. Then I want to isolate them. If you want to isolate them, there is a huge formula which you have to go for. So this is the formula which you should, just to appreciate, you know, just to let you appreciate how good this thing is. If you don't learn this, this is what you have to do. Roundabout method, this is what you have to do. You have to go for left option. You have to select the cell. You have to select find function. You have to say find wherever space is there within the specific text, start the number from this, minus it with 1, and then finally you will be getting the answer. It's a long, lengthy formula. You don't have to remember all these formulas. Instead of this, what Excel does is that it will give you a quick option to create or separate these values in just 2 clicks. So let's see how. All we have to do is select the list without learning any formula. You can do this. Select the list, go to data in here. So that's the first step. First step is to select the list. Next step is to select data. Third step is to click text to columns. Okay. And then select text to columns. As soon as you click on text to columns, it's going to give you two options. One is delimited and the next one is fixed width. To understand delimited and fixed width, delimited means you have a specific criteria between the first and last name. Now, in this case, I have a space between each first name and last name. So if there is a space in between, I can select delimited. If I'm selecting fixed width, it will show me specific width you select. From that point onwards, we will make the separation. So I want delimited in this case because every name has different spaces. And maybe John has after 4 characters space, Rita has 4 characters, but Mateen has 6 characters. After 6 characters, we have space. So we have variable changes in space. For that reason, we have to use delimited. So I'm going to select delimited, click on next. Then it's going to ask me what specific kind of function you're looking for. I will say I'm looking for a space. So wherever space is there, take that and separate the values and then click on next. It will ask you where do you want this to be I will select the destination, cancel everything, click on this button. This is the first name and the next name will follow next. Finally, click on finish and there you go. We have our first name and last name sorted out. This is how you can use text to columns to sort out the first name and last name. Let us do this again. So I'm just going to close down everything. Again, let me remove everything. This time I'm going to use a shortcut for this. You see, I'm going to first select the text. After that, press Option key from your keyboard and then press A from your keyboard and then press E from your keyboard. Option AE. When you do that, it's going to bring you or Alt A E. So you just press Alt AE from your keyboard and you will bring text to columns again. So Alt AE, if you press, it will bring you the text to columns, but you have to first select the data. So select the data, Alt AE, if you press, it will bring you the text to columns. And once you get the text to columns, from there, you can go ahead and click on next and do your work.
Can you again next?
Yes. So you see, once you get this function, select delimited and press next.
Okay.
Yes, and from here, what is the criteria? Criteria is space. Yes, so I want to keep 2 spaces between. So I'm going to select space and then click on next. Now it's asking us the destination. Where do you want that destination to be? So we will select the destination in here as this, first name, first column. And then finally click on finish. Okay, that's how you can do it. So that's about using your first name and last name separation. That's how you can use the cells to separate the text. And that's how it will work. Simple and easy. Now you can just use this to work around. Let's take the same example, but this time I will be having not space, but rather commas in it. Okay, so just let me do it. So I have these different list of names in which there is space, there is comma and stuff like that. So now what you will do, let's see. Now I have these 3 different name sections which I need to classify. But the problem is if I'm trying to classify this, it will not work because it has comma in here and it has dash in here, you see. So now let's see. If I select the values in here, and then if I'm going to data, from data, I'm selecting text to columns. From text to columns, I'm selecting delimited. Okay, as usual, click on next. Now here we have comma in here. Okay, so just a second, sorry. So I'm just converting this into text. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do this. So select the values. From here, you want to change it to specific names, but here we have commas in between. We don't have names, we have commas. Space, there is no space, there is only commas. So how would you select commas in here? If I put space, obviously space would come, but no, nothing happens. If I put comma, yes, something is happening. So maybe with comma, we can do it. So click on next, select the destination. I'm going to select destination as this, click on finish. Okay, so it's going to add the same things there. So even though there is nothing, we can add the same thing, it will do these. So now let's come to dash. So we have John dash Doe. Let's do the same thing in here. We'll go to text to columns, delimited. And from here, but there is no dash, there is no tab, there is no semicolon, there is no space, but we have other. Under other, you have to press dash. So you can add your own symbols in here by using others. So we can select others, and from here we can add our list. And then click on finish. It will. Like that. So that's how you can separate the data and you can keep it.
But if it is mixed, then we need to filter it out and then.
Yes, if it's mixed, then we have to just, keep it filtered. Yeah. So that's how you can do it. So that's about this. Now we have one more issue. You see that we have this symbol. This symbol is nowhere to be found. Let's try this by using text to columns. So I'm going to select text to columns, find the delimited in this case. In here, I have to use both the symbols. But here only one symbol is coming. What to do now? See? So for that reason, if such cases arises, what you have to do is select this, press Control H to bring your find and replace. We will select wherever this is there, wherever these symbols are there, replace it with a space, and then hit replace all. Finish. So that's all. So this is how you can make changes for this specific section. So if any other symbols are coming up in which you don't want to like beat around your head regarding such things, you can just do this example. So replace wherever these two symbols are there, replace it with a space, just add a space and click on replace all. It will replace all the values with these two symbols. Okay, so that's about this text two columns. Now we'll go to the next option, which is your comments. Before I can explain you about comments, it's a usually miscellaneous thing which you need to understand. It's not so important, it's not so concrete, but still there, which will be useful if you are working as an admin, maybe, then this might be helpful. How? Let's see. Now let's say that you are having a list of students, okay, or a list of names in here, as you can see in here. In this, I have few names which I have to specify them that these are the VIP students or these are the VIP names. But I shouldn't be posting any colors. I shouldn't be changing any formatting of the text. I have to keep the colors of the text exactly same, number format exactly same. I don't have to change anything. Still, I have to mention that this specific cells contains VIP list. So what I will do is I can select the text, go to my review option in here. Under my review option, you have new note option. Click on new note and this will bring you a new note. In here, you can say VIP list and stuff like that. And people who are watching this, they will get to know that this is a VIP. Or let's say this person is, be careful. And whenever they move their hands above, they will see that this person has posted a message on G23 like that. So that's how you can see the comments and text in these options. So that's about comment. So that's basically what comments are. Comments have nothing else to do except just adding a tag or maybe just to explain things there. That's all. You will have note. You have notes. Yeah, notes exactly does the exact same thing, but it will add it in this fashion. 365. No, it will be there itself. It will be there itself. You can check it out. Okay, guys. So one final topic before we take the break. So here we are having paste special. So paste special, you see that it's a very unique topic to work on. So let's see what paste special is. Now let's say that I'm writing some values. Okay, so I'm writing 700 value. In here, I'm writing a value. This value, I'm giving some colors to it. So let's say I'm giving a highlight and I'm giving some text color and I'm giving some text orientation and I'm making it a little bigger. This is what I'm doing. This cell contains so many things together. I'm selecting, giving cell orientation. How do I remove cell orientation? Is by clicking on the same button, it will remove cell orientation. You can make it bigger or smaller. You can change the font color. You can change the highlight color, anything you want in here. So now at this point, these are the different things which I have. I want the font color. Let's say the font color is red. I'm writing something here also. So let's say I'm writing Mr. Matt. I want same color, not the text. I want only the colors formatting to be copied and pasted in here. So what to do? So you can use Format Painter also in this point. You can click on Format Painter and you can click on this. It will work same as that. But you see that you don't wish to select this again and again. You don't want to come back and click on this, select Format Painter, click on this again and again. You don't have to do that. And you have multiple cells to do so. So now what you will do is you're going to select this, Control C to copy it. Control C to copy. Control plus C to copy. This plus means you have to keep on holding it. Yeah. Plus, wherever I write plus, which means that you have to press and hold the previous key. If I write Control plus I, you have to press and hold Control key and then press I. If I just write Control I, which means you have to press Control and then I. You don't have to press and hold Control before. Whenever you see plus, it means you have to press and hold that key. All right.
So when I want to,
Sorry, miss.
when I want to,
Which one, miss? This one?
then to like shift that 700 like the AB.
This one?
No,
Aligned,
within
alignment
the
of-
hole,
Uh-huh.
that AB is like this one.
Which one? Which one?
All those options over here within the hole.
Oh, just a second. I'll show you. This one, right?
Yeah, no, this was the one.
Yeah, that's what we have to select. This.
Then,
Yeah.
now keep it over here, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And look,
yeah, yeah. After we- All right, guys. So there it is. So once it's done, let's go back and let's copy the cell. You see that once it's done, we're gonna select this cell, Control C to copy it. So now I'm copying this cell. And now I wish to paste it on this. I don't want to paste 700. You see that if I press Control V, it's gonna paste. So if I'm using Control plus V, it's pasting the value. But I don't want to paste the complete cell. I only wish to paste only the coloring, nothing else, only coloring. So what do? We Control C to copy this, bring it over here, and you click on the paste button. And from this paste button, you get paste special, select paste special in here. Under your paste special, you get all these options. You get options like, do you wish to paste formulas? Do you wish to paste values? Do you wish to paste formats? Do you wish to paste comments and notes, validation, all these things? I wish to paste what I wish to paste formats. Formats means coloring. Coloring, formatting. That's basically what it means, format. So I'm going to select formats and click on OK. This is how you can give coloring to your, or you can copy coloring and paste it there. Now I want to copy this Mr. Matt and I want to paste only text. I don't wish to text. I don't wish to copy coloring and all these different things. I wish to copy only the text and paste it. So how can I only put paste or paste only text? I will go to paste special again. And in here I have values. So if I click values, it will only paste the text. It will not paste anything else. It will only paste text. Same thing. If I copy this again, Control C to copy, and now I wish to paste, but not text, not thing, but rather I only wish to paste its formulas which are inside. So I'll click on formulas and click on OK. So it will paste formulas. It doesn't have any formula. That's why it's pasting the text. It's going to copy whatever it's in here and it will paste in here. So that's about this.
So we can change the text style.
Yes, of course. You can change the text style by selecting this, and you can change the orientation. You can change the font, different fonts in here. You can give your own font as well. If you want, you can go to dafont.com from here. And you can choose for 1,000 fonts. There are thousands of fonts, whichever you can download and you can run it. All right. But I will explain these things again in Word when you're learning Word. So yeah, so this is just Excel. So we are still talking about the spreadsheets. All right. There you go. Now we'll be going to our next bit of option in the paste special itself. We're going to talk about data validation. Data validation means what? Data validation means Excel checks each and every cell, whatever you are typing, and it will tell you that this cell is this and this cell should not be this. For example, I'm writing a form in here. I have name, age, phone number, and let's say email. So I have this email ID. Now, name cannot have any numbers, right? So name cannot have any numbers. So if someone is writing numbers by purpose or deliberately they're trying to write numbers, it should be considered as a warning or it should be considered as restricted. So you want to allow people only to write their names and no numbers. So for that, what you will do? For this reason, we're going to select the cell and we're going to go to data. And you see beside your text to columns, we have something called as data validation. From here, we will be clicking on data validation. And as soon as you click on data validation, it's going to ask you, what do you want to allow in this cell? We want to allow only text. All right, so I'm only allowing text. what would be the text length? Yeah, just add any text length from minimum of about 1 character to about, it can be 50 characters. So maximum of 50 characters, the length of person can be. And once it's done, we're going to click on OK. So you see that if someone is writing any number, number is also getting it. I think I have to add any value, whole number, decimal, date, line, and custom formula equals is text. I think we have to add formulas itself. Okay, let's not go with that, or else it might be difficult. So we want the value to be true if the cell is text. If not, then the value will be showing false, and if it's false, it will not give the validation. So in a simple way, this is how it will be. I'm just going to copy the formula, bring it inside any value. Let me just put custom is text. There you go. And I'll just say that stop the input. Okay. So only values, even this is not working. I don't know. I think the formula is not working. Let us do that later. I'll just put this. Okay, let's not put for the value. We'll just put it for any value. For the name, okay, let it be any value. We want Elon Musk's son also to be written their names in. You know, the Elon Musk son, it's XE812. This is his name. Yeah, so that is the reason why. Okay, let's keep this blank. Let's keep this Elon Musk friendly. So we'll go to the option in here, and we're gonna select text data validation. For the name, it's no problem, but for the age, I want only, let's say, from age 1 to age 100, because nobody lives more than 100 nowadays, and less than 0, nobody's age is there. So we're gonna set this from 1 to 100. So we're gonna click on data validation, select whole number, minimum from 1 to the maximum of 100. And now when someone is typing in 101, it only values like 90, 80, 70, 60, 45, 35. So these values will be taken in. But if any values are written, like let's say -12, -10, it won't be giving me, oh, age. It's working. I think the data validation went away. So give me a second. Whole number, minimum 1, maximum 100, and click on OK. So -12. Won't allow me to write, but if it's 1, 2, 3, anything, it will allow me to write. So how do you change the warning also? You see that when I'm writing 101, it's giving me this data validation doesn't match. It doesn't look good. It's not looking professional. So if you want to change the values, go to data validation and you have error alert. So from error alert, set the name title as age restriction. Please enter valid age between 1 to 100, like that. And then click on OK. There you go. And when we have any, it's going to say age restricted or is age restriction. And then it's going to say, please enter valid age between 1 to 100, like that. So this is how you can put any restriction to that. Same thing as phone number. So now for the phone number, we will be adding data validation. Now let's say how many values you want. Let's say I want 8-digit number to be there. Okay, I want 8-digit value to be written, not more than 8-digit, not less than 8-digit. What is the least 8-digit value you can think of? Which is the least 8-digit value you can think of, guys? Unit 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000. So 100,000 least value. What is the least value of 100,000? Huh? Yeah. No, least value 400, like 6-digit least value. What is the least 6-digit value? Okay. Okay. Let me tell you one thing. Okay. 111111, 6-digit value. But is this the least 6-digit value which I can think of, or can we go a little down? Huh? We can go down. Okay. Tell me the value which we can go down. How much will be the last value which I can go for 6 digits? It's 1, 5 times 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the last. This is the last value, minimum value, which I can think of, 6-digit
You cannot
minimum
do-
value. If we go down, it will become 4. Sorry, it will become 5-digit, right? So minimum value of 6-digit. If I go a little low, it will go to 5-digit, right? So we don't want this. We want this to be 6-digit. So 1 first and then 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the minimum value of 5. Same thing, I want 6-digit last. So what is the last 6-digit value? If we add 1, it's going to become 7-digit. What is that? 6 nines, correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Finish. 9 times 6. This is the highest value. This is the least. This is the highest. Once it's done, we're going to click on OK. And there you go. Once we write our number 31438574. 31438574. I think I did not add this data validation correctly. Whole number between, yeah, date, data, yeah, between minimum and maximum. That's it. But why is it not working? Just a second. I think the value which I have written is 5-digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's an 8-digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-digit number. Qatar uses 8-digit. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, landline. Sorry. 2 more values in here, 2 more values in here. There you go. That's it. Okay. So now if I add my number 3, 8, 5, 7, 4, it works. But if I try to add any other number, not showing. So if I write any 6-digit number, it will only allow me 8-digit value numbers. So only 8-digit value numbers can be allotted in here, and that's how it will be. So that's about this. Then we have email ID. So for email ID, there is no such restriction which you can give. You can just tell that this is a text length, or is this like specific thing in here, doesn't matter. So yeah, just like that. So name and email, you can keep it like that, but age and phone number, you can keep it as this. Also, you can create a list of numbers. So let's say that age, you don't want this to be like 1 to that. You want it to be like a drop down list. So you want to create like a drop down list. So what you can do is you can go select somewhere else and write 1, and then next you write 2. Just write the first 2 values. All right. And then move it down till it becomes 100. So you're going to move it down till it becomes 100. This is like, there is a other way also, but I'm giving you the basic version of this so that you can understand this better. Okay. So this is the 100 value. I have 1 to 100 in here. Right. So when I'm adding this, I will go back in here, select data validation, and I will select not whole number, but list. Okay, select list. What is the source it's asking? I'm going to say that this is my source. Control Shift down arrow key to select everything. This is my source. Now, when I go back, I need to hide this. I don't need to keep this. We'll just keep this hidden. Now you see that if I click on here, it will show me all the numbers. It will not allow me to add my own. I have to select it within these lists. So that's how you can create a drop-down list also. So that is about data validation, just a simple fact on data validation. So we're going to use this a lot in our later coming topics also. Okay, so now we'll be taking a 5 minutes of break, everyone, and then we'll be back. So we'll be back with advanced fill and advanced fill with formatting, and this is where our formula starts. So we're going to talk about these things also in our 5 minutes of break, or in the next 5 minutes of break. Okay, guys, see you in the next 5. Okay. So now coming to the next topic in here, we have advanced fill with formatting. This is like it's like the formatting formulas, the first formulas which you will be learning. It's like the basic formulas for you to understand things. So here I have 3. Sorry. Advanced fill, it's just what I have shown you there before. So if you press 1, 2, select them together, drag down, this is what advanced fill is. So you can do the same thing. Like, let's say you want only same numbers, like copy till down. You can press Control D to make them like down same numbers, but you won't be using this. Usually you will be using 1, 2, or you'll be giving progressive difference 5, 10, like that. So what you do is you select them both and you drag them down. That's it. So that's basically what advanced fill is. Yes, and you can do the same thing for right side also. So 5 and let's say 6 you are adding, and then you are selecting them both, dragging it to the right, values will come. So 7, 8, 9, same thing. So that's basically what this is. Shortcut for this is Control D for shortcut. This Control D, Control R is for this. But R will bring all the same values. D will all bring same values. So if you don't wish to bring same values, you can do progressive difference each, and then you can select them both and drag down. So that's something which we have. All right. Now,
For a short class, for series also it's a control D, for if you want to get in series.
that's what series, it's not Control D. You have to first do Control D, like Control D first, and then when you get this, you have to press Control key, and then you get yeah, there is no shortcut for that. You have to stretch it through mouse itself. You have to use it, drag it through mouse itself. That is the only way to do. Okay, so okay, let's come to the advanced fill with formatting. This is like the topic where you will be learning basic formulas. So we have three basic formulas. We have left, mid, and right. Three different basic formulas. To start with, let's call the left one. So here left, I have the value, which is the product code 1701. And then I have the, sorry, that's the chassis number 1701. Then we have the insurance number, which is J101. And then we have the license, which is D407. So these are the three different set of numbers which we have. In these three different set of numbers, I wish to bring only the left side of the values. Only I want to bring chassis. Only I want to bring the chassis number. Maybe later I will bring the insurance. Maybe later I will bring the license. But for now, I want only the chassis number. So what I will do, you see that I have 4 digits on the left-hand side. So I will press equals, and then I will tell my system to bring only the left digits. How? By writing LEFT. As soon as you write left, you see that this autofill comes in. There is a FX button showing. FX is the understanding. It's basically, it means function. So FX means function. So it's showing me a function. Under my function, it's showing me this. Press tab from your keyboard. Tab means this. Okay, so this is the tab keyboard which you have. So press tab key from your keyboard, and once you click on tab, you see what will happen automatically. It will fill and it will open the bracket for you. So once it opens the bracket for you, at this point, select the text. What is the text? This is the text. So left, select the text. And once you have selected the text, it's going to ask you, okay, how many number of values you want to bring in. So I will write comma. As soon as I write comma, it's going to ask me, okay, how many numbers value you want to bring in. I will say 4 digits. 4 digits from left. So type 4 and then close the bracket by pressing Shift 0. So if you press Shift 0, press and hold Shift key. Okay, so this is the Shift key. Press and hold Shift. Press and hold it and click on this button 0, and this will create the close bracket. And once you get the close bracket, hit enter. It will take you. It will bring only the left 4 digits. Same thing in here. We will do this left. Select the text, comma 4 digits from the left. Close the bracket. Do the same thing. Left. Select the value, comma 4, it will bring you the left. Now you don't have to do this again and again. Click and drag down, it will bring you the values. Same thing, okay? So go for right. So for the right, we're gonna do the same. RIGHT, right. It's gonna ask me, where do you want the values to be? Right of this, comma 4 digits from the right-hand side. So right of this value, 4 digits from the right-hand side. Close the bracket, hit enter, it will bring you the 4 digits from the right-hand side. All you have to do is drag down. Okay, so that's how you can use the right area to bring only the right hand values. Now coming to the mid values. Mid is the function where you will be adding mid functions, or you will be selecting the mid values. Mid value is J101. So I wish to bring only the mid values. So if I press equals, select this mid. If I write mid, select this comma 4, it will give me an error. It will give me an error saying that you have entered 2 less variables. You can't really, so many less variables cannot be added up. So for this, what do we do is we have to tell system where it should start its counting from. So here in my case, I have to start my counting from J. What character is J in? Which position is the letter J in? 1 is the first character, 7 is the second character, 0 is the third character, 1 is again fourth character, fifth character is dash or minus, sixth character is J. So from sixth character, we will be taking 4 values. So comma 4. So from sixth character, comma 4, take 4 values. And when you hit enter, it will take from the sixth character 4 values. And then you can drag it down and the same value will appear till the end. So that's how you can do it. So that's how you can do it. It's fairly simple, and that's how it will be. So that's about this. So now you understood how we are using, function just to, make you understand, how things are. Okay, so this is about simple functions, right? Now we will do the exact same thing. This time, we will not be using any formula. We want to do this in a much more simpler way. Okay, so how do we do this? Let's see. This is what we call it as flash fill. I have the same thing. Product code I have the product code, I have the product itself, and then I have 1701, J101, D407, things like that. I want to get the same exact code again. So if I want to get the product code in here, what to do? So for this, what we will do is we're going to tell system we are looking for the first 4, mid 4, or last 4 by writing the number. Let's say I want mid 4 digits. I will write J101. After writing J101, I will go and click on this button and press Control plus E to tell system that I want mid 4 digits, and it will bring me all the mid 4 digits. Yes, Control E. If you press 1701 in here, it will bring me all the first 4 digits. If I press D407 in here, it will bring me the last 4 digits automatically. So it's going to read the trend. But please make sure to do this Control E, you have to do, or you must follow 2 rules. Rule number 1, the data which you are running should be or must be in a cluster, which means to say that if by any chance I am doing this, Control E, it won't work. We looked at all the data next to your selection and didn't see any pattern for filling in values for you. So it says that it's reading the pattern beside it. So it must be in a cluster, which means to say that it must be without any spaces. It must be in here. That's the first rule. The second rule, the thing should not be on the left-hand side. It should always be to the right. And it should be in a cluster, which means there should be no gap. Then only when you press Control E, it will work. Okay, so Control E will work based on these 2 rules. First rule, it must be in a cluster. Second rule is that it should not be on the left-hand side. It should always be on the right-hand side. Okay, so that's all.
So what if, sir, if this one is accidentally?
Let's say that you have accidentally deleted any in-between value. It doesn't matter. It will still be the same. However, the first value, you can keep this exactly same. Even though if you delete the first value, it will still be the same. So it doesn't matter. If you delete the intermediate values, it's completely fine. It will just find the pattern and it will fill it for you. It's not dynamically bringing in the data. Dynamically bringing in the data means if anything is changed in here, this won't change. For this to make it dynamic, we have to use formulas. Again, it will be a long thing. So that's about this, guys. So now coming to our final topic, viewing sheets and adding data. You see that when you're working with a big data, this is a very small data which we have. So I'm just going to open a big data for you all. Okay, so now we have a very big data. This data consists of about 72,000 something. So 72,426 rows of set of data. So it's a huge number of data, huge data. If I keep scrolling, it will take me 1 or 2 hours to reach top. It's a huge data. So because of this reason, I cannot really go up to check. Now you can see that this month financial year change suburbs are coming instead of row numbers or row column numbers. How can I get this? This is not everywhere. So if I do the same thing in my different sheet, if I'm going down, you see that I'm not getting headings. I'm only getting A, B, C, D. How can I get this instead of A, B, C, D? How can I get the headings? So for that, this is how we do it. Select the first row like this. Click on view and then click on freeze panes and then click on freeze panes in here, or you can select top row. This will freeze the top row, and whenever you're moving down, it will still be the same. Same thing, you can freeze this section by freezing the first column. If you click on this, it will freeze the first column. So when you're moving to the right, it will stay the same. Okay, so that's about this. Then, okay, I think I'll go back to A1. So it's still taking time, it's lagging. Okay, comes back. Okay, good. So when it's back, we can select freeze panes. And if you want to unfreeze it, click on unfreeze panes and it will unfreeze it. So how you can freeze panes is like that, and how you can unfreeze it is by clicking on the same thing. So that's how you can freeze and unfreeze it. Let's say that you want to freeze all the panes till here. So select the cell, one cell below the criteria where you want to freeze the pane. So let's say I want to freeze it till here. So I will bring my cell position one below and one to the right. Okay, so I want all the cells to be frozen from here to here. I want all the cells to be frozen. So what I will do, I will bring my cell, one cell to the right, one cell below. Here I will bring. Because you see that from this point onwards, it will lock these cells, including this. So whatever it is, I have to lock this. So I will bring my cell in here, go to freeze panes and click on freeze panes. Now what it will do is it will lock all the cells from that position onwards. So now both top cell and below is locked. So that's how you can do it. And that's how you can give the freeze panes. If you want to unfreeze it, click on freeze panes and then click on unfreeze panes again. If you do it, it will unfreeze it. So that's basically how you can do it, guys. Unfreeze it. That's it. So that's how you can do it. It's fairly simple, easy, and that's about this. So now in our coming class, we will be talking about custom functions using multiple sheets, user filter, and finally, we'll be starting with our logical operators, which will boggle your mind if you are learning this in our next class. So next class will be very much mind-boggling because you will have so many formulas to learn, complicated formulas to learn. So when you come for the next class, try to rehearse whatever we have done so far so you can understand the later coming topics, or else it might get a little difficult for you all. Okay, so please try to do this from this point onwards. The Excel will be quite overwhelming, so try to practice before you can come for the next class. Okay, yeah, you should have a laptop. If not, it might prove very difficult. Yeah, so I'm just going to end the meeting recording.